Evening. In the last video, you'd have seen I had taken this car to pieces so I could fit the roll cage, because to fit a full cage in one of these, the engine and gearbox has to come out, because the rear part of the cage welds to basically the part of the engine bay. So you're taking the engine out unless you want to make a mess of things or catch something on fire. So this was stripped pretty much bare. And now, well, it's ready to go to the scrapyard. Seriously. Yeah. All the panels, useful panels and parts removed. And it's gonna go. To foreign viewers of this video, that might sound like, what the fuck, is crazy, because these things are worth actual money in pretty much everywhere else in the world. But in this country, they're not. They are, you know, this was a 450 quid car, and it wasn't a one-off, because every single one here has been similar money. I mean, the breakers in this country, even I don't cringe, but even I, like, when I see the cars that these breakers are buying to break, it's like, holy shit, that's like, I call that a nice car. But they're buying them for peanuts, you know, 500 quid, whatever, because they know they can break them for far more, and usually sell them to these people, you know, spares, to these people in these other countries where these cars are worth good money. But it's good and bad. But the main good thing is you don't have to be precious with it. So this car, it actually made more sense to just fuck it off, because, well, all the work to fit the roll cage, this, that, the other, it was still a very rough and ready, butchered old development mule. So it's like, hang on a minute, it's not the only one I've got. And if you remember, I got that. This is my other one, which I've already put the cage in, and is actually way cleaner. And basically, I looked at it and it was like, you know what? It's a damn sight faster to just put the engine from this into this than it would be take everything out of this, mess about, do the cage and everything again, and then pull it all in again. Because this isn't, it wasn't wasn't the nicest one in the world. It wasn't bad, it's pretty, very solid underneath, but pretty shitty. But this one, it's already got the good bits done. And yeah, this will be like the old one, but way better. And it'll probably be quicker for me to finish this than it would have been to get the cage and everything in this. So let me show you around. So far, I've got the rear anti-roll bar on. I've just been making sure everything's good. So I've literally, you know, cleaned it, painted it. Everything looks good. Obviously, it's got BC coilovers already. I put the rear anti-roll bar from this one onto this one, the white line one. You know, lots of things on it, on this car. Way better condition. The arms, the bushes. I'm actually not going to put the poly bushes on this yet, just so I can get it on the road, because the current bushes seem so good. You know, I've still got the other ones. I've put them over there, but for the minute, I'm not going to put them on. I've lightened a few things, so, you know, I've taken a bit of weight out of the roof, the boot and the bonnet. What I've done with this, really, what I'm trying to do with this, is make it this, but better with everything I've learned. The loom and some of the water piping and so on is going to be neater, because obviously Thomas has developed, you know, this was a development car, remember, so it was all like, you know, lots of testing and changing, and yeah, things have been made better now, so it's going to have a tidier loom, same loom, just tidied up, tidier, neater water piping routing, which is good, and yeah, just generally better. And another goal is to make it no heavier, or hopefully no heavier, despite the roll cage. Roll cage isn't particularly heavy in these cars, but still, it's weight. So yeah. Another thing I've changed is I ended up with a bulge in one of the drag radials on the sidewall, basically, and nowhere has got any in the world, I mean literally Summit Racing, Jegs, any of them people, never mind nobody in the UK, has any stock of the correct size drag radials that I was running, or not even anything similar. So, and won't have for months, just like, for fuck's sake. So I was like, you know what, considering it's a road car and considering it handles so well, although it didn't quite so much with the drag radials, I'm going a slightly different route. And the different route is this. Nankang AR1 semi-slicks, so road legal, on 9x15, what they're called, Rotor K7s. I'd honestly never even heard or seen these before, but I was looking around for the correct size wheels and the offset I wanted, and these were literally the perfect widths and offset that I wanted, and obviously not too much money because they're rotors. I've weighed them too, they're 7 kilos each, which is fairly light for a 9x15. In fact, even though these are like 1.5 inches wider wheels to the old ones, and the tires are over 1 inch wider but lower profile than the old ones, the drag radials, these actually weigh the same as my old wheels and tires. Like, I think the old wheels and tires, sorry, weigh 0.5 kilo more, so that's a bonus. But yeah, 275s on the back, massive. Fronts are 245 on the same exact wheels, and if you look, this is a standard Mark III MR2 tyre and wheel, and it's exactly the same rolling diameter. The old ones, you know, the drag radials that were on the rear, were, I've got a picture somewhere, I might pop it up, I might not, but they're like 2 inches taller than the original, so very significant. And the difference is, wow, a lot. I worked out the gearing now, and whereas before at like 8,000 RPM in top, it was about just over 200 mile an hour, I think, on the original wheels, well, the drag radials, the previous wheels. Now limiter and top is like 178, something like that, so it's literally taken about 25 mile an hour off the top speed. So potentially the acceleration should be faster, hopefully. It depends, because it's a toss-up with, you know, you're accelerating harder because it's lower geared, but potentially you're changing gear more, so it could be swings and roundabouts. I've done lots of testing. If you look back in like old videos I've done with my Imprezzo, was a good one. Just changing the diff ratio basically made it go from what was WRX fast to beyond STI fast, just by changing the diff ratio, no engine mod differences. So it makes a big difference, potentially. It depends on the gearing, but you know, we'll see. But either way, for considering it's a road car, and it's a car it should handle. I think these are a better bet. I just hope they have the grip. Like I said, the old ones were 245s, these are 275s. Well, the backs are, but the old drag radials were 245. And while I don't expect these to have the stand and start grip of the drag radials, because obviously they had a big soft sidewall and these haven't so much, I'm not really fussed about that. As long as these hook from a roll, because it still hook fine from a launch, you know what I mean? I'm not expecting it to be the best, even on them old 205 wide tarmac rally tires. It was still like 0-60 and 4.2 when I had like 270 brake. So it'll still be rapid on, you know, on these with like, what's that, 3 inches wider tire. But yes, I've actually just trial fitted a pair just to make sure they fit, and they fucking do. It's amazing how much room in the arches these things have got. I mean, this is totally standard arches and not been pulled or anything yet, and it only sticks out by less than 1 inch front and rear. And obviously at the moment it's way too high and with no camber. I mean, look at the arch gap. I mean, I'm on coilover thankfully, so I can take 1 inch or 2 out of that. But yeah, I will hopefully, I'd rather not run over fenders, but I'd also rather not roll the shit and butcher the arches like I had to for those drag radials. So if I can gently pull these out a bit to cover the tires, then I'll be very happy, and I'm pretty sure that's possible. But yeah, tires are fucking serious. Look at that. Also, the toe arm is like that because I was just checking for clearance, but Christ, the clearance is close. Everything clears, but just I had to actually take like a 5mm maybe triangle off the corner of one of the coilover brackets, because that was actually slightly touching. But apart from that, nothing. So really fucking pleased with that. Obviously the bonnet is the one off the other car, as is the roof, but I've lightened the roof as you would have seen in the other video. Let me show you inside, because it's quite different. Obviously, first thing you notice is a full cage. Also, carbon fibre, carbon Sparko seats. Well, you know what? One seat, just for me, because A, that's lighter, and B, when I think about it, I don't take anyone in my cars. I drive cars for my enjoyment and doing what I want. I don't want to take people in my cars. I almost never do. The MR2, the old shell, only, yeah, you know what? The old shell only ever had a passenger in it once. And even before that, the Volvo, the only time, if I remember right, that ever had a passenger was once I took Sinead out in it. It was a fucking, I think it's on a YouTube video. My Corolla, I never ever, I don't think, took anyone out in that car. And then I removed all but the one, you know, the passenger seat. You know, I removed the passenger seat, I just had a driver's seat, because I don't take people out in the car. It's just not, I don't really enjoy it. I like to drive it for me and do what I want to fucking do, not what other people want to do. And when I want performance, people just add weight. So it's like, no, I've got other, you know, these aren't my dailies, these are my fun mobiles. So no, you know, I know some people, like, they have to have a passenger because I don't fucking know, they're lonely. I don't know what it is, or they're desperate to like take people out in it to show them what it's like. It's like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, the roof look is, well, I showed it in the last video, but it's lighter than it was, and fits brilliant with this roll cage. Really, really good. I've got different steering wheel with a snap-off boss, which is good. I can't remember if I've shown you in previous videos of this car, but I've made this custom shifter setup, so I love it. It puts it right where your hands are on this extended thingy with a super short shift. I shorten the handbrake cable too, and yeah, it's just much nicer, much more enjoyable. So yeah, if you look at the door card on the other side, it looks standard, and it's still operational. It locks and unlocks from the outside and the inside. You can open it from the outside and the inside. It's all good, but let me go around and I will show you a couple of things. So yeah, door looks standard. It works like standard, but it's not. While it looks pretty stock, and it certainly looks stock when it's closed, it's not. I've actually completely gutted it. I removed every bit of metal I could while keeping it looking standard and fully operational. So it's, you know, MOT fine and all that, because I think the rules are it has to open and close from the outside and the inside, or one or the other, I don't know, and stuff like that. But because there was going to be no passenger anyway, safety, and it, you know, it's going to be opened very rarely, if ever, you know what I mean. So the electric window no longer works. There is no electric window mechanism anymore. The window is fixed, and it, honestly, I reckon it saves. These are heavy standard doors. They are 25, nearly 30 kilos, if I remember right. I reckon this is saved 15 plus kilos, I would say. But yeah, anyway, to the inside. I'm not running the charge cooler anymore, because although it was good, it was really heavy, because all the water as well as everything else, it's just really heavy, and it just complications with water pumps and blah blah blah, and just shit to go wrong. It's just not me. So I'm doing something a bit different. Not, wow, to most people it sounds crazy, but it's well proven, so it's not crazy. And it's this. Obviously not finished yet, hence tape instead of TIG welds. But where the charge cooler was, and that wouldn't fit with this cage anyway, so I had to have moved it. Air filter is still in the same place, by the way. Well, the charge cooler wouldn't have fitted anyway. Now, as you may have guessed, there's something in the front, and to most people this would seem fucking bonkers, and to some people they'd be like, oh, I remember back in like fucking out probably 25 years ago, in Max Power they had the I think it's Abflug or something, MR2, Japanese tuner car, like Japanese demo car, which had a very similar setup. But you can't really take any notice of tuner cars because tuners don't necessarily know what they're fucking doing. But what you can take notice of is proven successful race cars. And you know what's got this exact same setup, which is the only reason I thought, well, not only reason, but the reason it made me confident enough because in my opinion it was fine from my experience. But the 1999, I think it is, Japanese GT300 class winning MR2, the Momo course one, the one that was in Gran Turismo, in fact Gran Turismo 2 I think it was, the red Momo course one, that's got this setup, and it won against lots of other MR2s with more conventional setups. So it's like, yeah, it does work. I knew it would work because I've been there and done that with this kind of shit, but I've never done this exact thing. But that's about as exact as you can get. But I do like the new cockpit. proper seat, proper everything. Actually much cleaner too, and safe, and just, yeah, really pleased with how this is going. So yeah, this is what's under the front now. So no more loads of water pipes and pumps and shit for the charge cooler stuff. It's a lot more standard. I obviously not even slightly done this yet, so it's all filthy. Literally all I've done is done the boost pipes, you know. Yeah, they're good. Basically the one goes across and down there, this one goes across and down there, and I can't really show you very well, but look, the front bumper looks pretty stock, in the standard position, standard shape, all that. But it is a 5-inch thick GTR drag intercooler. These have got amazing amounts of room behind the front bumper. So yeah, this intercooler is like the kind of thing you would see on like 1500 brake Skyline GTRs. So yeah, it'd be more than capable of 500 brake in this little thing. So yeah, fucking spot on. Again, I've took some of the metal away under the bonnet. Nothing too much. I'm going to put in my alloy radiator from the other car. In fact, there it is. I'll put in my twin fans as well, because that's aircon setup. It's got 2 fans. The standard ones have only got 1, you know. So but my car from Japan came with aircon, so it had double fan setup. It's not needed, but when I've got it, why not? Apart from that, obviously this needs a clean, but it's generally very tidy, because, well, it is a tidy car, you know. So yeah, this is the gist of it. I'm getting there. I'm very, very close to being there already, actually. I mean, with the lack of time, I haven't spent much time doing this at all. This video's what, about 2 weeks from the last one, but that's not because I've been flat out working on this. I've been actually sort of working in general, not much on this. But yeah, I mean, on this underneath and in the arches and everything, it was very clean already, but I'm basically going over everything, wax oil in the lot and all that, because although this car's not going to be something that's used in the wet or anything, it's this country, it's always going to get wet at points, so I don't want to go fucking rusty. It's tidy anyway. And now it's going to be like the new version, the sort of second evolution of the old thing. Then yeah, I don't plan to be taking this apart anytime soon. Obviously there's the engine. We'll be going straight in, because it does. And yeah, we're getting there. I reckon, well, in all honesty, I can't say a time, because like I said, most of my time isn't here. Most of my time is, you know, working for a living. I'm not a fucking YouTuber that can do it full time. I don't make any money from this shit. This is just a hobby. Not YouTube cars. YouTube is just a happy accident. So yeah, in days of work, there's probably only what, 2 or 3 more days of work, like solid work. How long that takes in reality, as in fucking, you know, the time I've got to do stuff, that remains to be seen, but a couple of weeks hopefully. Yeah, check that out. Genuine Toyota IQ hubcaps. Looks like a right base model piece of shit. Just how I want it. So yeah, probably be rocking them and some cat stickers and the usual stuff to make it look as nothing as possible. It's a sleeper. It's a sleeper, just a better sleeper than it's ever been before. So yeah, watch this space. Bit of a change to our usual content, but I don't suppose anyone wants to buy a really badass electric 30 mile an hour mountain bike, because we've got a few for sale. Had them for a while, and the plan with them, we never actually did, so just gonna sell them to make space really. So while these things normally go for about 1,500 quid in this spec, for like 700 plus delivery, you can have one, and they are cool as fuck. This is one, well, we've got a couple here, one big fat tired one and this one with the skinnier tires. There's both we got available in a few colours as well. Same basic bike, just different tires. And yeah, they are awesome to ride. I think I might have had some footage in the past of me riding the other one, the fat tired one, because you know, ride it around, and there's like even off-road they're fucking good, because these are, they're not electric assist, so if you're using electric mode on the street, you're technically breaking the law. But off-road use only, twist the throttle if you want. I mean, you can make these electric assist, but you know, that's your call, not ours. But as it is, you know, it's a 18 speed, nice looking, nice to ride, not heavy mountain bike really. It's got disc brakes, they're only cable operated ones. I mean, you can get the hydraulic conversion for about 75 quid these days, which is mega cheap for what you get, but it is what it is. 18 speed, just a nice bike with and yeah, it does 30 miles an hour, 48.5 kilometers an hour it's geared to. This is your speedo and all that kind of shenanigans. Average speed, this one's only done 5 kilometers. This is one that Thomas's daughter had, but it's too fast for her, she's a bit scared of it, so it's only done 5 kilometers. Yeah, maximum speed 48.5 kilometers an hour, which is basically dead on 30. Sorry for my filthy fingernails, I'm working on cars. And yeah, it's, you know, this is your speedo and all this kind of stuff, and how long it's got, you know, left, and blah blah blah, you know. But yeah, good bike. But yeah, 700 quid. But it's super simple. You've got your on-off switch there, plug it in charger, you've got a USB if you want to use it for something. This is a battery pack, of course. This is the lock, so you can turn it on and off if you want to, you know, so no one can run it without you. This is the charger, full charge. And yeah, they're good. And as I said, if you want to ride it without pedaling, I mean, you ride it like normal, but if you want to do, so yeah, if you want to do burnouts on your bike, you actually can. But yeah, these are basically, they're sold, we'd sell them in the basically 2 kits it is. So you've got a bike on its own, it's basically a complete bike in a box, already pretty much ready made, just you do your little adjustments or whatever. And then it's the second kit, which is all the electrics. It involves changing the back wheel to the one with the motor and adding the other bits and pieces. Simple DIY stuff, takes about maybe 3 hours doing it real tidy. Probably quicker if you was, you know, just rushing it, but super simple, dead easy. And yeah, they're good. I might now maybe go up and down the road so I can show you. So yeah, really good bike. Way quicker than pedaling, but it pedals lovely too. I mean, it's literally a case of you know, you want to ride around normally, it rides lovely. You can just ride it normal pedal anywhere you want, and you want a bit of a boost, it goes way faster than you can pedal. One more thing to say about this, I forgot to even mention it. It's a 1000-watt motor, so that's why it's quick. I mean, like I think the UK road legal amount is like 250 watts, so they barely pull the skin off a rice pudding. But this is 1000 watts. Obviously, you know, off-road use only. But yeah, you'd pedal on the road because, you know, you're all law-abiding and lovely and nice. But off-road, 1000 watts, and yeah, it moves pretty well, as you can see.